Hello and welcome to another episode of Never Onside. Hi, this is Joseph and joining me as usual is Mayur, and this is an FPL Game Week 22 review. We'll also be taking you through the blanks and the double game weeks which are confirmed and which are yet to be confirmed. So let's get into it.
So the main question is there will be two double game weeks, game week 22 for Manchester United and game week 23 for Haaland. Some of us have still not used the triple captaincy chip. As we explained in our previous video when we were previewing game week, double game week 20 for Haaland, we said there were only few options where we can use triple captaincy. And this Rashford triple captaincy option at that point of time wasn't a possibility, but it has come and looks like a good chance to take if you are still have left with the triple captaincy chip. So here are the stats for Rashford versus Haaland. Just before we look into the stats, the fixture for Rashford are Crystal Palace and Leeds, both at home, Old Trafford. For Haaland, the fixtures are Aston Villa and Arsenal, one home, one away. So yes, host, your early thoughts.
Yeah, for me, Rashford is in the form of his life, and United is playing really well. The only concern is Ericsson not being there is an unknown factor, which might affect the side. But two home fixtures which are very favorable for United, especially against Leeds, we are known to thrash them at home. So, and Rashford has been scoring at home in almost all the games after the restart. So, I feel this is a better option than what we had with Haaland the last time. So, if you want to do it this game week, then go for it. Or else, Haaland, technically you are triple captaining him only for the Aston Villa fixture because Arsenal are really good. Arsenal are a top side, so you can't expect Haaland to score a hat trick against Arsenal. So the maximum potential I would see is like a goal maximum, especially because City are not playing the best football right now, and with the likes of Cancelo leaving, I'm sure there would be some issues in the dressing room as well. So they are not at their full potential right now. That is why I held off triple captaining Haaland last time. But Rashford is very tempting. Rashford triple captain is very tempting. As you can see, the stats are really good for both these players, and the minutes also is kind of predictable for both these players right now. In terms of goal scored, I think Rashford has scored 5 and Haaland 7. Right in is this after the restart?
Yes, after the restart.
Yeah, right. And assist 1 and 0. So you can see that Rashford is almost as explosive as Haaland. Even though Rashford plays on from one of the wings, where Haaland plays in the center, and the touches also
Most of
are
it is
really,
are very similar.
yeah,
Just to
very similar,
yes.
right? So I would say go for Rashford if you are confident in United, or else I would hold off the triple captain for a future double game week, or even a single game week where Haaland has a chance to score a hat trick. Yes.
So we saw in the Arsenal City game, which happened in FA Cup, we saw City were not hesitant to play direct balls to Haaland. So that is the only thing which might see him getting. We saw he bodied. Who was he playing with? I don't remember the centre back who was playing.
Holding.
Rob Holding. We saw how he was completely throwing off, like winning those physical battles, but that wasn't their first team, and we saw City just scoring one goal. So yes, as was mentioned, it will be a difficult game, but direct route to Haaland is also there, which if you are not considering it, so that might be an option. But yes, at the moment, I am also leaning. I also didn't use my triple captaincy, and at the moment I am leaning 60-40 in favor of Rashford because the form he is in and the fixtures just add to it. So that is our verdict on it. uh, there will be a lot of blank game weeks as well. We saw United and Newcastle now in the Carabao Cup final, so which means now they will be having a confirmed blank game week in 25, right? And along with that, Crystal Palace and
Brighton.
Brighton have a double blank game week. So that being blank in 25, 28 blank game weeks. As you can see, these are the certain conditions which, if fulfilled, will lead to blank game weeks. So Hose, you can see United having a blank game week in 25, having a blank game week in 28, and then having double game week in 22. So how do you approach, if you are having only two United, do you go for third United, or what do you do?
Personally, I wouldn't go for the third United player. If you after seeing these two blanks, I wouldn't, because it's technically you are Rashford is the most explosive player in that side, and then a United defender probably in the likes of Shaw. You're just doubling up on someone like a Fernandez who on some days will score a lot of points, but it's not guaranteed. Rashford will be the main point scorer in United usually. So it doesn't make sense to transfer him in, Fernandez in, and then transfer him out again. So my for me, I have all three players, so it's easy for me to say don't bring in the third player, because eventually what I am trying to do is after this game week and
Of
probably after the Leeds match away also, I'll ship out Fernandez. That's the plan that I have right now. But I think it's 50-50. If you want to bring in Bruno, the upside for this one double game week is there, but then eventually you have to transfer him out again. So that is technically two transfers which you are losing. So that is my rationale behind it. Yeah.
Yes, and with that, a few favorites like Haaland, all the city assets basically, Brighton, Mitoma, who also will be having two blank game weeks,
Right.
and then Tottenham, Kane would also face a blank game week if you have Kane. So looks like a lot of players which we now have in our team will be having a blank game week at least in 28. So the
Right.
whole strategy from my point of view is to dead end your team in 28 and then use wildcard in 29, so you get a good team back. So thinking from that perspective, looks like Arsenal, Newcastle are the teams where you have to go for currently. And then depending on how the fixtures go, you can go for some Liverpool players if there is a chance. Fulham beat Sunderland and
Newcastle have
Leeds.
a blank as well, right? 25 they have a blank, so they
25 they
can.
have a blank,
Uh,
but you can
yeah.
start planning from 25 till 28 if you want to dead end your teams.
Right. Right.
And Arsenal, as of now, not many people are on Arsenal 3. And if you are, Arsenal 3 is the way to go for,
Yeah. Right.
looks like, because
Right.
they have both the fixtures in 25 and 28, and they are
Right.
the team in form currently.
Yeah.
Yes, so these are the percentages of this matches being blank. If certain things happen, just keep an eye and plan your team accordingly, whatever chip you decide to play. So let's move on to game week 22 preview. Uh, just before we start, the deadline for this week is on a Friday, 12 p.m. IST. Right. So just make a note of it and make your transfer accordingly. The first game will be Chelsea Fulham. Who's any of the new signings? Anything you are looking forward to, or anything you
Yeah,
plan?
like Mudrik is someone I'm looking forward to because he can give the output. Like we saw in the last match when he came on, he made a big difference. He was just marching into the opposition half so easily. So he is someone I'm looking out for. Uh, Enzo Fernandez is I think 5 million. So
I
let's
haven't
see
seen. I
how.
haven't seen.
Yeah, I think he is 5 million. So let's see how um, he performs if he is given a chance. Because attacking wise, also we'll have to see if he's contributing enough in this Chelsea side, who definitely are lacking a bit of cutting edge in that end. So for me, the fixtures to watch out for are definitely the United Crystal Palace match, where United being at home and in the kind of form they are, they can on that day destroy Crystal Palace. Also, Brighton versus Bournemouth is something which you can look into because Brighton are really good right now. I think Ferguson is injured. Other than that, you can go with Mitamo
Mitoma, who
and
has been
yeah,
favorite. But
yeah,
again, the same thing comes in about the blank game
with
week.
the
So
blank game
if
weeks
you
as
have
well.
him, definitely play him, but not sure about
The likes of
getting him.
Tony at Brentford against Southampton. is also a good shout. A struggling Everton against an Arsenal side. Let's see how Sean Dyche puts his
comes
team
in.
up. Yeah, how he is going to approach this game. We definitely know that if Everton try to sit back throughout the game, Arsenal will completely tear them apart, just like how City used to do with all those teams uh, in the initial days. And yeah, so other than that, there is no other fixture you can target apart from the United matches, like United Leeds and the United Crystal Palace matches. So that is the fixture to target.
One major question: if you still, for some reason, are holding on to Salah, what are your opinions was on Salah? Do you change him for Bruno? Give to KDB, go to KDB, or
Definitely,
maybe a
definitely.
Saka?
I've done that transfer before, like ages ago, because you could see that Salah was not giving the outputs that he used to do. From very basic eye test, you could see that. So right now, I feel you should go for, if you have someone like a Salah, it makes sense to go for a Bruno Fernandes. But if you have to kind of dismantle your team to get in Bruno Fernandes, then I would say don't do that. So definitely there is no point in holding on to Salah now.
Yes, so most of the thoughts are same, and let's see how the double game week goes for United. Uh, yes, so let's move on to our teams. Jose, have you made any transfers or anything?
No, so I have not any made any transfers. There are two free transfers that I have. Probably Wilson will go out. Uh, I have to see if Jesus is back training in full capacity, or else in Kitia is a decent option. I thought for like before the blank weeks, I thought Ferguson can also be a good player because he has returned in the last four games, and Brighton are scoring goals in big numbers. So Mahrez, De Bruyne, Fernandez, and Rashford. So probably Rashford and De Bruyne would be the two uh, players who would stay in the side beyond 23. Mahrez and Fernandez would go out for Arsenal players or someone who shows potential down the line.
Yes. Similar for me, Cancelo, my favorite player, has left. So looks like I will we have to downgrade him. So that leaves a lot of cash, and let's see where it takes me. I'm looking for Martinelli out as well to probably a Saka. Let's see how that goes. But I have still undecided. A lot of things to think about with today and tomorrow still there. So let's see what it takes. And the final question: host triple captaining. Are you going as of now? What are your thoughts? Triple captaining, yes or no?
The issue, the only issue I fear is Rashford getting injured. I that bad memory from the um, Mane triple captain 2 3 years ago keeps coming back because Rashford is that kind of a player who will be clutching his hamstring at one point, God forbid. But that is one concern that you have. But with someone like a Haaland, you feel like he will play the match because you rarely see him get injured in this side. So that is the only concern. Looking at the fixtures, this is a perfect opportunity for a triple captain. But do you have the courage or the balls to do it on a United player and on Rashford? That is the big question.
So definitely we'll let you know. At the moment, I am 60-40 on Rashford. So we'll take our time, sleep on it, and then decide
Yeah,
tomorrow
so
when
just
we
one
have
more
more.
question, Mayur. In the Arsenal side, who would you back? Like, can you rate your top three picks in Arsenal in descending order? Like the top player first.
It depends. For your case, if you are going to sell a forward, Nketiah looks the first option which I would go to. But apart from that, Saka, Odegaard, and Nketiah are my top three picks. Because I have seen Odegaard, the way he has been playing and linking up, and looks like that's his place to like lose. Even if Trossard comes, and now Trossard coming in, Martinelli looks like there might be some competition. So yes, Saka, Odegaard, and Nketiah. If you are looking for a forward, I wouldn't think twice. I would go for Nketiah. Then the order changes: Nketiah, Saka, and Odegaard.
Right.
But yeah, if you are looking for
If
direct
Jorginho
positions,
comes in, maybe like if he start, he wouldn't start. But I'm saying like if he comes on every game after the 70th minute, if he is on penalty duty, Saka is missing out on that.
definitely
Like, yeah,
he is missing
some
out
people
on
don't.
that. But at the moment, I still see I have Martinelli who doesn't get penalty, so might as well get Saka. That's an upgrade.
Right.
So that's my order. And any changes, or do you agree with that order, Rose?
Yeah. So for Odegaard, I think is the second highest scoring player. So we are somewhat overlooking him a lot because he's involved because of the history he has as well. We don't expect him to score a lot of goals. We don't expect him to be, the person who assists. He is usually the person who assists the assister. So that's why that is there in the back of our mind. But the thing is, if you look at Mares, most people wouldn't bring him in, but there are couple of games in which he does give you a lot of points. So it's those kind of decisions
Yes,
that alter your season completely. So if I would rather go for Odegaard instead of maybe an Andres Pereira. I think Fulham might also blank down the line. So that is one because we all have enough money in the bank. So even having a strong player in the bench makes sense for me right now. Yeah, so it depends all on if you have the likes of Kane and Haaland and then De Bruyne, then it might not be viable. But for me, I have a lot of money to burn, so that is also a decent option to have. If the fixture is favorable, I can play Odegaard and Saka if required, and yeah, so that is for a player person who doesn't want to have a striker from Arsenal. Yeah,
definitely. So if you haven't joined our league, the league code is mentioned on the screen and in the description box below as well. Join us and come play with us. That's it for this week's FPL video. We'll be soon back with a new video and episode next week. See you then, and
bye.
bye bye.